Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to another monthly reset routine. If you're new here, my name is Selena. I create these monthly resets to prepare for the next month, and these have been very much inspired by my friend Carter Sullivan. They might change a little bit from month to month, but I try to keep them pretty similar every single month. So yeah, there's timestamps down below if you want to kind of jump around throughout this reset. But this monthly reset is going to be a little bit different because I also wanted to incorporate like a little bit of a mid-year check-in, but I did want to incorporate this in order to kind of go over what my 2022 goals are, which I put together in my 2022 reset video. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. But today I'm going to be going over those goals and kind of resetting my intentions for the rest of the year, and then based off of that I'm going to continue into my monthly goals and intentions for August specifically. And we're still going to do the budget and everything else, including the monthly favorites, because apparently you guys really liked that last month. So I'm definitely going to make sure to incorporate that into my monthly resets. But with all that said, I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you do, and if you want to see more monthly resets or reset videos from me, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support my channel. But with all that said, let's get into it. So 2022, as I've said, and I will continue to say, is meant to be a year of healing, growth, and purpose in my life. That's why I set up my goals the way that I did, my intentions the way that I do every single month. So just checking in with the goals that I set for 2022. I wanted to become a runner, which honestly, I feel like I'm actually getting more into that now at the end of the second quarter of this year. So stay tuned for that. I'm definitely going to be filming more like running vlogs to kind of get into that, but I do feel like I've been working towards that every single week. Moving 4 days a week, I feel like I was a little bit overconfident with that, but I'm glad that I clarified, like it includes walking, and I do feel like I've been doing that, so I feel good about that. Adding more diversity into my meals. I did like meal prep last week and I was very proud of myself. I actually made like chicken and salmon and vegetables, which who am I? So I feel like I'm definitely doing a better job at that, and also like making more meals at home. Continue going to therapy and taking medications to deal with past traumas. So that one's a little bit deeper, but I will say that's an intention that I want to keep for the rest of 2022, and I'm glad that we're taking the time to go through these and kind of like see what steps I've taken, and or if I need to kind of pivot, start making goals and making myself more intentional on things that I'm lacking on. And I would say that going to therapy is something that I haven't really invested enough of my mind and like my attention into it in the first half of the year. So I definitely need to hold myself accountable. Walking 7,500 steps a day. So I actually added a step tracker to my monthly reset. So I'm going to be keeping track of that and just taking note of that using like the health app on my iPhone. But honestly, it's been making a big difference because I can kind of see like the trends of my average steps per day in a month. I would say that I definitely did a better job in June. We'll see how I did in July. I think that I also did a better job. So it looks like the second half of the year is looking up. Making more home cooked meals, I've definitely done that. And the meal prep, I actually recently started that, and I'm kind of shook right now because I hadn't like looked back at my 2022 goals for a while. So yay me, I'm very proud. Get a good morning or night routine down. Okay, so I'm like pleasantly surprised because I just made like a night routine video and share that with you guys, and I honestly feel like, you know, on a good night when I'm able to get off work at a decent time, I've been pretty good about doing a night routine. But I will say I need to work on a good morning routine. Personal and professional development. So I want to become a better reader. I have been reading 1 book a month, so that's good. I actually hit 25K on YouTube, so wow, I'm shook. Now I need to increase that. Like, I don't even know what subscriber goal should I aim for now, because I already surpassed my 2022 subscriber goal, which honestly, again, it was only an intention because I feel like I have no actual control over who subscribes to my channel and who doesn't. Like, that's all the algorithm and obviously up to you guys. So it feels kind of weird to call it a goal. That's why I say it's an intention, like something I'm hopeful for. So I would say I'm at 28,000 and there's still like 5 months left to this year. I don't know, guys. This is weird. Honestly, YouTube and subscribe, it's a roller coaster. So I will say my new goal is like 40,000. 40k subscribers. Anyway, that seems a little bit steep. Hitting 6k on Instagram. I'm 1,000 away, so it's possible. Who knows? Getting career counseling is something that I also, this is like reminding me, I also wanted to do that an intention, so I need to do that. Going to church consistently, I'm not gonna lie, I have not been doing that so much. Part of the reason is because I haven't really found a church that I've made that like connection with, and another part is that, you know, I haven't been intentional about it as much as I should be. So I have to be honest with you guys and with myself. Monthly and weekly devotionals. So I would say I've been doing kind of like monthly devotionals, but also they haven't really been devotionals. It's been more like journaling. So I do want to make sure that I'm incorporating more like biblical things into my life. I don't think I've been doing that as much as I've been wanting to, and like working on my faith journey is something that I really wanted to do this year, but I have honestly just been lacking at it. But it's okay because these are intentions. Gotta keep them going throughout the year. It's not like I've failed. I don't want to see it that way. That is not how I see it, because I feel like my heart is in the right place. I just need to pivot and make some changes. Journaling, so I have been doing that. And then financial goals, my goal for the end of the year is to pay $3,600 off. I think that I've currently paid about $1,700. I kind of took a little pause on my student loans because I'm trying to figure out like what's gonna happen with student loans right now, like with Biden. I don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. So they're on pause. So we'll see. Finding a more affordable living situation. I stayed in my apartment and my rent actually went up a couple $100, and honestly that's pretty much the best price that I'm gonna find in my area. So I'm doing okay with that. Creating a monthly budget every month. Well, here we are, monthly resets. So yes, and start investing in index funds after my emergency fund reaches 5k. So I will say I haven't really started investing in index funds, but my emergency fund also isn't at 5k yet. It's around 3k, and I did start investing. I started investing in Wealthfront. I'll give an update on that when we get to the budget portion of this video. Create an LLC and start QuickBooks. Who am I? Like, I'm trying to start a whole business in 2022. Okay, honestly, creating an LLC is not that hard, I've heard, so I really need to get on top of that, see how this whole YouTube thing goes, and see if it's really going to be like something that becomes like potentially full-time in the future. And I think once I get more towards that step, that's when I would probably start doing QuickBooks. I don't know. Tracking at least one no-spend month. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, so yay for a mid-year check-in, because I forgot that I wanted to do this. So tracking at least one no-spend month and one no-spend week. I have not done that, but I really do want to do that. And then living below my means. So one thing that I really wanted to be intentional about this year is to not let like lifestyle creep kind of, I didn't want that to take over in my life. I didn't want to fall into that. That does kind of scare me. I do feel like I've been spending more money, but I wouddn't say that it's lifestyle creep. I think it's because I've actually started taking like vacations and time off and stuff like that, because during, you know, the whole pan dulce and everything, when we were quarantined for like 2 years, I wasn't doing anything, going anywhere. So I think I'm just kind of spending more money. So I don't think it's lifestyle creep in my opinion. I think if I was like, I don't know, like going out every single weekend and spending all of my money and then having nothing in my savings, I think that would be lifestyle creep. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments if you know. I do want to make sure that I'm always kind of humble and remembering like what my roots are and where I came from, because I don't want to spend like all this money, you know, that I don't have and then be struggling financially. I just want to be very fiscally responsible. But now that we've looked at my 2022 goals, let's now get into the monthly goals and intentions portion of this video. Let's start off with health and wellness. I did not create a morning routine, I will not lie. I definitely worked on a night routine, so there's a plus, but I could definitely work on a morning routine. I've been waking up at like 9 in the morning, guys. Like, it's honestly a problem. So I'm not even gonna set like a time. So I think instead of saying create a 7:30 a.m. morning routine, I don't know, that just didn't work for me. It wasn't like, I wasn't inspired to do that. So I think instead of that, I'm just gonna change it to to wake up before 8:30 a.m. That's gonna be my goal, my intention for August. See a new therapist. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with BetterHelp, so I'm gonna take that off, but I definitely want to go virtual. Like, once you go virtual, you can't go back. I used to go in and see a therapist like before the whole panoramic happened, everything that happened in the past couple of years. I started seeing a therapist virtually, and it was a game changer. I'm telling y'all, in the comfort of your own home. Like, I took sessions on my bed, on my couch, and it was just amazing. I feel like there's no therapist office that can make you feel as comfortable as you do in your own home and as safe as you do. That's just my opinion though. Obviously y'all can do whatever you want. We're all adults here, but virtual therapy is it for me. Walking 7,500 steps on average. Like I said, I have my step tracker here, so let me see what I walked in July. So my average steps for July are 6,151 steps on average per day. Listen, it's not 7,500 steps, which is my goal, but we're getting closer to it, and it is above what I walked on average in 2021. So look at that, improvements. I'm here for it. And then sleeping 7 hours a night. Let me see what my sleep is. I'm not really sure, but I do know that since my busy period started, I honestly haven't been getting as much sleep as I should be getting, because sometimes I don't get off work until like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. and that's super late. And obviously I still want to have some time to myself after work, so it just doesn't work out all the time. But I'm gonna keep that on there because that's still something that I want to be intentional about. Getting enough sleep is so important for me. Uploading 2 videos per week. I believe I have been doing that, so that's good. Hitting 21,000 subscribers. That was my goal, y'all, and now we're at 28,500. Can you believe that? That's so wild. Just wild. I'm so thankful. Read the Bible every week. I'm like a broken record at this point. I haven't been reading it the way that I want to, with like the Bible study, setting time apart for that, but I'm not going to be hard on myself because, again, I'm in my busy season at work. You know, you guys have busy seasons too, where it's like I can't even have enough time to like get enough steps throughout my day and have time to cook and clean like I would normally need to cook and clean, or to like function mentally, because, you know, dealing with my depression and then working all the time it's a balancing act, quite honestly. I'm not gonna be hard on myself about any of these that I didn't meet for this month, because I can only aim to do better next month, and that's okay. Reading 1 book, I did surpass that goal. Also, I totally forgot to check off my goals, lol. I did read 2 books actually, and I'll get into that in a moment. And then I did not pay $1,000 on student loans. Like I said, that's kind of on pause until I see what is going on with the whole student loan situation. Eating out only twice per week. I will say that was kind of a hefty goal and I did not meet it. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Although, shout out to the person who DM'd me on Instagram and who literally told me, y'all held me accountable. I told you to hold me accountable, and you did your job. One of you DM'd me on Instagram and literally told me, hey Selena, your dinner looks amazing. I had ordered from Grubhub or something and I shared it on my story. And one of you literally said like, is that your first meal or your second meal of the week? I literally felt so called out in the best way possible, because I did ask you guys to hold me accountable on that and you did. So that's on me, but I'm definitely gonna change that for August. So with that said, that's the perfect transition. Now we're gonna talk about what monthly goals and intentions I wanna set for this new month of August. So looking at the goals that we just went over, the area that I really did the best and excelled in July was personal and professional, not so much health and wellness. So let's try to change that for August. Okay, so in my health and wellness goals, I want my first goal to wake up before, I'm gonna say before 9 o'clock in the morning, because I have been waking up at 9 or 9:30, and that is ridiculous, y'all. I need to work on making a morning routine. I want to see a new therapist, and I also want to add that I hope it's like a local person or a person of color, most likely a woman of color that I can actually like identify with. There's like race-based traumas that I also need to work through. Personally, I think that a professional who deals with mental health and is also a person of color can maybe kind of identify with some of the things I talk about, or at least walking 7,500 steps on average. That is still the goal. And then for personal and professional, I'm going to continue to upload 2 videos a week. I don't really know how many subscribers I want to shoot for in this month. I'm at 28, almost 29. I don't know, like 31,000. That would be pretty cool. So in August, 31,000 subscribers, and then read a Bible verse every morning. Let's make that part of my morning routine. That is the intention, because I just want to kind of recenter myself and remember like who I am and, you know, why I was created, and, you know, be more intentional about thinking about my creator. I just haven't been doing that and I really want to. Reading 1 book, that's the goal. I surpassed it this month. I think I said that already, but so proud of myself. I'm not gonna put a limit on what I eat, so don't worry about holding me accountable on that again. Instead of that, I want to think of the positive. So instead of like putting a limit on what I eat out, let's see, like eat, let's say 70% of meals at home. Actually, yeah, I think that's gonna be more sustainable, because if we do the math really quick, if let's say I eat 3 meals a day, which I don't always do that and I need to work on it, but if I were to eat 3 meals for 7 days, that's 21 meals. So 21 times 70% is 14 meals at home. That's a little bit more doable, and also it doesn't set like an unrealistic or like tight restriction on my eating out, because, you know, eating out can also be like going and getting coffee and a croissant for me personally. So I don't want to say only twice a week, because I want to have more flexibility, considering that food is literally an experience for me. So those are all of my goals and my intentions for August. So in August, you would be proud, y'all, I ended up reading 2 books instead of my goal, which was to read 1 book. So the first book that I read was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong. I would rate this book 4 out of 5 stars. Michael truly is an amazing boyfriend and lover, and we love that for Stella. It was really a feel-good, lightly spicy read. I would rate this 2 out of 5 on the spiciness level. The second book that I read was Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I would rate this book 3.5 out of 5 stars, and the spicy level 4 out of 5. It was definitely a lot spicier than the first book. It had a really great build-up and pretty interesting plot. There was a mysterious guy with a dark past, and we loved that. I definitely saw the plot twist coming though, since there was some serious foreshadowing, and I think the plot twist could have been delivered better. But besides that, I do recommend the book. So if you ever read any of these, please comment down below your thoughts. Comment in the first line if it's a spoiler in case anyone else wants to read the comments. Those are the books that I read in August, so let me know down below if you have any other recommendations. So I feel like I haven't done this in a while, but I want to go over my 2022 business tracker just to show you guys kind of, you know, how I'm tracking my business expenses. Plus, this is also like a mid-year check-in, so it makes sense kind of look at where my business income is. I always make sure that I set aside 30% of like side hustle income, because when you get paid, you know, for a sponsorship or a brand collab, they're not going to take that 30% out for you. The money that you get is the total gross amount, so you have to set aside 30%. So I have on this business or income tracker sheet different categories, right? So the business tracker has an affiliate income section, Google AdSense income, because that's like what I get paid through YouTube. Whenever you guys watch my ads, or whenever anybody watches my videos and they watch the ads, that's the amount that I get paid per month. And then sponsorship income, some of these it might have been 1 brand collab that month, 2 brand collabs. I keep track of the totals here, but I'm gonna go in and type in all of the updated amounts and then I'll show you guys. My total monthly income for June was $390. July is currently negative $226 because I don't get my payouts for Amazon or for AdSense until literally like the end of the month. So I think I can look at my AdSense on YouTube. Okay, so this month keep in mind, literally, you're gonna see the difference. It's an extraordinarily different amount of money that I earned in AdSense because my July reset video like exploded, and I'm so happy and so grateful. But just know that this isn't like a typical month for my channel. This month it says I earned around $2,600. Wild. Like, I'm so grateful. That's amazing. Like, I have no words. But just again, like I said, this isn't, you know, a normal amount that I would typically get on average ever. So yeah, 2,600. And as you can see, in the past like 7 months or so, the most that I had made was $650, and that was in January. I think probably another video was like doing pretty well at the time, but I typically only make around like $300 to $500 a month on AdSense, which I say only, but I'm very, very grateful that I get paid just from you guys watching my videos, and it's free to you guys, which is just insane to me. Yeah, I'm just so grateful that I get to do this. And I have formulas in here. Everything's automatic. Like, whenever I put in the gross amount that I made, 30% is automatically subtracted here, and then this amount is what gets added up in my monthly total income so that I can see how much I earned after taxes, so that I personally know like how much money I have to spend, to save, to invest, because the money from my side hustle, I treat it as money that I get to either reinvest into my own business, into like growing, buying new gear, or just using that money to pay off my loans or an investment. But yeah, with that said, let's get into the next portion of the monthly reset, which is some of y'all's favorite part, the monthly budget. Okay, before we get into the monthly expenses for July, I just wanted to quickly clarify like how I do my budgeting, the apps that I use, and all of that. So I use mint.com, mint.intuit.com. I also have the app on my phone. I have all of my accounts connected to it so that it keeps track of where I spend my money, how much money I have in savings, how much debt I have. So it keeps track of all of my accounts, and then it tells me like what is my current net worth is based off of my spending, my assets, and my liabilities, and all of that. It's really, really helpful. I definitely recommend. You really don't have to like think a lot, which is really, really nice and just convenient. So getting into my monthly expenses. So it looks like for the month of July, I spent $5,300. The largest transaction per usual was my home, because my rent did increase, and it's really cool because you can just easily click on here and it'll show you what your transactions were. So as you can see, my rent was $1,841. Furnishings, I went to the Container Store and bought a bunch of stuff. I also bought a couple other things for my home this month for like my apartment vlog. So that kind of all added up to $2,100. But keep in mind that part of that, like paying for the Container Store stuff, it's just what I need for my mental health, to have an organized place. And then the second largest category after home is shopping. I'm a little bit scared to see what that is. There's two categories in shopping, which is shopping or clothing. I'm like exposing myself. I did shop a lot this month in comparison to other months. I was buying a lot of things on Amazon. I know I bought like new cleaning supplies and shampoos and new melatonin, just all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh, Savage Fenty. And this is why it's so good to budget and like track your expenses. I need to go into Savage x Fenty and cancel my subscription, so I'm gonna make a note of that. Fenty is amazing, okay? That's like that's all that I will wear at this point. But I don't need something new every single month. Like, it just doesn't work with my lifestyle of trying to be minimalist. Anyway, so that's what this transaction was. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. After shopping, food. Honestly, usually food is my second biggest transaction or like spending category. And this is kind of like self-explanatory. Food, it was only $5.92. Okay, meal prepping really does come in clutch. So I'm here for it. So $5.92 is not the actual amount because, again, groceries, I split with my boyfriend. We don't live together and he doesn't pay rent, but because he's here pretty much every single day, he does help with like those daily living expenses like food. Food also would be less expensive if I always ate by myself, but I always buy groceries for two. So just keep that in mind. And I say all of these disclaimers because I know that a lot of you want to know like how much does it cost to live in the DC area, and I want you to know that a lot of these expenses like food and dining especially and shopping are for two adults, not just for me, because I definitely think my shampoo and everything, obviously I wouldn't have to buy it as often, and food I wouldn't need to buy as much. Okay, so after food is travel. So that makes sense because I bought my flight to Oregon. I'm gonna go there in the near future for a family member's wedding, so I'm really excited for that, and that's why I paid for that. But look at the price, guys. $377 for round trip because of my Chase travel rewards. Let me tell you guys, if you don't have Chase Sapphire rewards, you need to get it. Like, you absolutely need to get it. If you're someone who likes to get money back, if you're someone who wants to have a credit card that is not only, you know, allowing you to build your credit, you can also get so many benefits. Like, the amount of points that I got just in the beginning for signing up was just incredible. Like, I got like 80,000 points. And what's really cool about Chase is when you go to use those points, you can decide how many points you want to use towards your travel or towards whatever you're paying for. That way you can choose to still save some. Like for me, I know that I need to fly to Oregon twice this year, so I didn't want to use all of my points and then have a free flight. For me, I rather just use 30,000 points and have my flight be really cheap. That way in December I'll have enough points for a free flight or to do the same thing. Like, I'd rather have a hefty discount than free and then later no discount, you know what I mean? Anyway, I love it, absolutely love it. I'll make sure to leave I think I have a referral link for the Chase card that I have. I'll leave that in the description if you guys want to check it out. Highly recommend. I waited way too long to get into Chase. Health and fitness and financial. So I'm not even going to get into those because those categories or spending categories are a lot smaller, but I am going to export all of this information and then I'm going to save it to my spreadsheet, and then I'm going to show you guys my monthly budget and explain to you guys, you know, where the spreadsheet came from and all of that, because I got a lot of questions about that. So let me do this real quick and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so now let's get into the monthly budget. So let's start looking at income. So remember how earlier I used my business tracker? So let's take a look at my business tracker real quick. And this is gonna show us what my income is for July, my income after taxes. So there's $1,663. So this is another reason that I like to track it, because then when I'm budgeting, it makes it a lot easier to just input that number into my budget itself. So that is a lot of extra income to work with for the month of August. Again, that is not a typical number, but I am very grateful. Yeah, okay, so that means that $1,663, I can now actually, you know, use that in my August budget. And obviously I don't really need to change my fixed expenses very much, although I think these are all still the same. I will say utilities is more so around $175 now. There's been an increase recently, as I'm sure many of you have experienced as well. Savings and long-term savings goals, student loans. Number 2, I'm gonna make this one investing. So I do wanna open that Roth IRA and then pay maybe like $250 towards it. And then student loans, I wanna at least give a minimum payment of like $350 towards that, so that I feel like I'm still paying towards it, even though it's a little uncertain what's going to happen with student loans. Emergency fund, I think I might invest more money actually. And then with my emergency fund, I'll put 350, or I will put 300. I always want to try to stay close to these numbers. So like 20% into savings, 50% for fixed expenses, and 30% for flexible expenses. That reminds me, my budget sheet is actually Bucola's budget sheet. So I've talked about her before, and I always link her in the description because this is like her old budget sheet that she made like 2 years ago, and I just use her budget sheet that she shares. And again, I'll link the video where she shares the actual budget sheet, and then I honestly just added to it and customize it for my own needs. Like for example, like this expense tracker was super easy to make. I just export the CSV from mint.com. It's already in this format. All I had to do was really just change like the fonts and change the color schemes into something that I liked. So I just wanted to share how I do that because I know a lot of you were asking me. It's really not fancy, you guys. And like this is like, I just did my own take on how to organize my goals, but it's all on Google Sheets. I didn't pay for anything. I just threw it together on my own because I personally have always liked liked digital planning better than like writing things down, at least recently. So now going into my fixed expenses, for rent I pay actually about like $18.20, so there's $745 left to work with. When I see my friends, we really go out for like coffee or like brunch, and it's maybe once or twice a month, so I really don't need a lot of money towards that allocated. Ooh, I'm getting my hair done in August. I'm very excited for that. So that's gonna be, I have no idea, but I'm gonna allocate like $400 towards that, because let's be honest, hair is so expensive, which is why I don't tend to do it. But here we are. Date night, $200 is fine. So I wanted to create a new like tab to my monthly budget where I would be able to keep track of my assets and liabilities, essentially like my investments and the trends and everything that has to do with that, but I didn't get to it this month, so I'm gonna try to work on that this next month, and I guess I will make that one of my financial goals as well. Let's get into my favorite part, which is the monthly favorites. So the first thing that I've been loving this month is this coffee. I honestly, like, if you look at my even just my last monthly reset and my other vlogs, I swear I go from wanting to drink just black coffee and having hot coffee to suddenly having the creamiest of creamiest iced coffee, and I'm here for it. Like, my cravings change month to month. So, and I showed you guys this morning how I like to make it currently. So that's the coffee that I've been loving, and I wanted to share like my favorite coffee order of the month, but realistically I think I got coffee maybe twice this month. Like, who am I? I've just been having coffee at home. But if I did have to say my favorite coffee order, it would definitely just be, so I got my iced coffee. It's just a cold brew with oat milk, maybe a pump of like a seasonal syrup. Like, currently I would probably choose hazelnut, or I would always choose hazelnut, honestly. So my favorite shows this month, All American is so good, and honestly, again, judge me if you must, and I only say this because someone on Instagram reached out to me once. This person pretty much told me that they don't like to watch shows with high schoolers or kids, shows where the actors are portrayed as high schoolers or like younger people, because they just feel like that's like kind of childish, I guess. I have no shame. I love it. All American is just such a feel-good show. It reminds me of shows like Family Matters or like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Full House. Those shows that, God, where did they go? Because those shows actually had like good meanings to them, and they had really good themes where at the end of the show or the end of the episode you would learn something new, or a character would grow and apologize for their mistakes. Like, you would always learn something, and I love those types of shows. That's what happens in All American, and they bring up such important topics. I feel like my taste in shows, did that even help? Okay. They make no sense. Like, I feel like there's no correlation. Like Stranger Things, All American, Legacies is the third one that I was gonna tell you guys about. So I don't know how many of y'all are Vampire Diaries fans. I just love most things related to like supernatural, including the show Supernatural, which I did watch at least 2 times. Like 2.5 times, and anytime that I don't know what to watch, like, I'm down to go watch Sam and Dean at any point. I love Vampire Diaries, but you know what I love more than Vampire Diaries are the series that are related to Vampire Diaries but are not Vampire Diaries. I do want to rewatch the originals and Legacies. Like, I don't know why, I just think the originals is my favorite. Like, I like it 10 times more than Vampire Diaries. So those are like the top 3 shows that I watched. I started rewatching other shows, but I won't really count those. I decided to try a new podcast called the Level Up Latina podcast, which was recommended to me by one of you in the July monthly reset, and honestly, I love it. My favorite episode so far is called First Gen Guilt. Y'all, I swear that episode was just speaking to me. It really talks about like being a first generation Latina, having parents who were immigrants, what it's like to grow up with them and essentially want to provide for them and like get the best job and the best career so that you can essentially make their sacrifices worth it. Like, I just resonated with that so much, you guys. And if you guys are, you know, first generation from a family of immigrants, I feel like a lot of us, whether you're Latino or Asian American, you know, Indian American, wherever you might be from, we could probably all relate. So I think that this podcast would be really, really good, honestly, for anyone if you're open to just like learning about other communities. Another favorite episode from them is called Boundary Setting and Keeping for Real. This is part of their summer series, and let me just say, I highly recommend. This episode was so good. It talked about setting boundaries in different like interpersonal relationships, setting boundaries as a mother. It was just so good, because I feel like one thing that we see a lot now on social media is to protect your peace and to cut people off. They really talk about like, how do you set boundaries, for example, with family members that you don't want to cut them off, especially in Latino culture. It's like, you don't really cut off like family members. Like, that's not part of Latino culture. You kind of like put up with them, but that's also kind of toxic in some relationships. Like, that's just not healthy. And so this episode really talks about like, how do you set boundaries so that you can take space and put space between you and those people who maybe cause harm to your life. Like, it was just so good, so good. So anyway, it's a really, really good nugget of information. And per usual, I listened to The Minimalists. They're just one of my favorite podcasts because they literally talk about minimalism and what it means to be a minimalist. And I think it's important for myself as someone who wants to live more of a minimalist lifestyle and just really anti like overconsumption, which I would say that I probably still overconsume a lot, but at least I try to be more intentional, purchasing things that only add value and bring joy or bring functionality or something into my life, rather than just like compulsive spending. Their main motto is love people, use things. They even have a book out, I think, titled that, and I haven't read the book, so I'm not like sponsoring it or anything, but their minimalist podcast is really eye-opening. And now I'm gonna share some of the favorite things that I got this month. So one of them, I use this every single day and I use in pretty much every single video with you guys, is the Ultra Sheer Body Mist Sunscreen from Neutrogena. It's broad spectrum 70. This stuff is amazing. It's perfect if you're gonna sweat or get wet, or honestly just protects you if you're gonna be out in the sun at all. I have the spray version and I also have the cream version, and I absolutely love it. It doesn't make me look super oily. It doesn't leave like a white tint or anything. So another thing that I really loved this month were these nails, actually. So as you guys may or may not know, I do my nails at home now, and these are Gel X nails. So I had done them last month. I actually have a video on my channel if you want to check it out, so that you can see how I do my nails at home. And also on my Amazon storefront, I have a list of all of the products that I use to do my own nails at home. So if you're interested in doing that, I just honestly do it for my self-care and to save that extra money. And I also found that I was no longer getting joy from going to a nail salon. If anything, it was giving me anxiety, and I felt uncomfortable just like sitting there. I'm very much an introverted person, so just sitting there and like staring at someone and like not knowing where to look just gives me a lot of anxiety. So learning how to do it at home, it's just been more relaxing. I put on my favorite show and then I put on my nails, and then they look amazing and they last a long time. And because I have all of the products at home to do my own nails, if one of them chips or breaks off, I can just easily do it myself. And I say easily, it's a lot of work. If you're a nail tech, I have so much respect for you because I could not do other people's nails. Like, it takes me so long to do my own. Definitely love this. These are the short almond nails. Linked these on my Amazon storefront. If you're interested, all of this stuff I think will be linked. Then I also bought some new Nespresso pods. I hadn't bought Nespresso pods for months. So when I buy these pods, even though this was like $50 and there's more, I just didn't bring them out, these last me for like 4 months. So Nespresso, if you're on the brink, or if you're like thinking about getting an espresso machine but you're not sure if it's worth the investment, I can't recommend it enough. It's such good coffee. My favorite basic ones are the vanilla custard pie. I also had to get caramel cookie. And then my third favorite, again basic, is the hazelino muffin one. It's just So freaking good. I love it so much. So these ones are full cups of coffee, so I don't tend to have them unless I want to have my coffee hot. If I'm going to make my iced coffees, I tend to have Alticio or the Diabolito ones, and these are like the one shot of espresso, and I always buy it off of Amazon. It connects directly to the Nespresso store, which is pretty close by, so I end up getting my Nespresso pods usually the same day that I order them, which is really nice, and I don't have to leave my house, which is great, especially during busy seasons when I really am not able to go to the store during the week. So this purchase, let me put you on. If you don't already use like a visor like this, you really need to. I love wearing my hair in ponytails and buns, and it was so annoying that I couldn't wear this and help it like block the sun. But now, ever since I bought this one, I can wear my ponytail and look cute with my hoop earrings and everything, and I can still protect my face and my eyes from direct sunlight. I love this. It's so cute and it's comfortable, and I believe it was under $30. Just such a great price. I got this on Amazon, so again, I'll link it below. And finally, saved the best for last. So as you may or may not know, I'm restarting my running journey. I used to run cross country in high school. I've always ran long distance, like through college and even a little bit after college, but I hurt my knees and now I'm getting back into it. So that's the quick little recap. And I got some new shoes, guys, and these are just amazing. I already have Hoka's and Saucony Endorphins, which again, two of my favorite brands just in general. But these shoes by Hoka, oh my gosh. I actually tried these out today and they're so freaking comfortable. These are the Hoka One One Orahi, I think. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce it, but again, I will link these below. They were on sale when I bought these, so I think I only paid $90 or $100 for these, and usually running shoes are really expensive. Like, it can be $180, $200 for a pair of running shoes, but guys, if you want to protect your knees, your ankles, your joints, your ligaments, you need to get the good pair of running shoes, and I did, and I'm so excited. I love these so much. Like, these didn't give me any arch pain, and I have pretty flat feet. Like, I've always, my whole life, I just have pretty flat feet and I don't have an arch. These are amazing. Those are all of my favorite products that I purchased in July, but I hope that y'all enjoyed today's monthly reset routine. If you did, if you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support my channel, and I try to respond to every single comment. So with all of that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. If I don't see you all in the comment section, then I hope to see you all in the next video.